A long time ago, in a galaxy called New Jersey, a young inventor lived and created some amazing inventions, some of which have affected our lives even to today.
We understand the importance of history. We understand the importance of learning from the past so that we can do better in the future.
On June 6, 1933, the first drive-in movie theater opened in Camden, New Jersey. Originally known as park-in theaters, were invented by Richard Hollingshead
for over 100 years
of an open-air theater where moviegoers would watch from the comfort of their automobiles. He mounted a 1928 Kodak projector on the hood of his car.
The gym was actually built, owned and operated by Cannon Mills Company for the entertainment and benefit of their employees here in Kannapolis.
It was one of 4 theaters owned by the company, 3 for white workers and 1 for African Americans.
Throughout its history, the company has worked to connect people with each other and the world around them. On September 25, 1928, Paul V. Galvin and his brother Joseph incorporated Motorola's founding company, the Galvin Manufacturing Corporation, in Chicago, USA.
Motorola is known for phones, but back in the day its ambitions were a lot more broad, and the company cooked up loads of different types of tech. Motorola made TVs at a time when television was only just becoming popular. It made pagers for hospitals, and it was Motorola's radio technology that relayed Neil Armstrong's first words from the moon landing.
It's one small step for man.
That was 1969, but the good times didn't stop rolling. In 1973, Motorola debuted its Dynatac system for portable phones and X, an iconic product that established a decades-long tradition of giving mobile phones confusing names with lots of numbers and letters. The 8000X weighed 2.5 pounds, was roughly 11 inches high, and cost nearly $4,000, which is closer to $10,000 in today's money. Oh, and you got 20 minutes of talk time before the battery died.
Emmett McHenry is a visionary known for his legendary ability to successfully unite communication with computer technology in groundbreaking ways.
Most of the things I've done didn't exist when I was in undergraduate school. Most of the things I think about didn't exist.
Emmett is a quintessential pioneer.
Beyond
He
one's reach.
brings together innovative
what
spirit.
it might be 20 years from now.
Jesse Russell, whose innovations in digital signal processing led to the modern cell phone that changed the world.
Call me on my cell phone, late night when you need
my communications will be deeply rooted around this concept of cellular radio. Now, I never will forget the first day I was on the job. I called the meeting of all the managers, and so they were all white. I was the only black guy, right? And I was saying, well, what's the problem, right? Why? Because they were losing so much money. It was pathetic. They were just losing money like you never heard of it. It was in our organization. So right after they broke up the Bell system, the technology that nobody wanted. And so what I said was, well, that seems like an easy problem to solve, right? Why don't we just take the phone out of the car and just put it on the people? And I said, I guarantee you, if you put the phone on the people, I was thinking about just making money, right? So I said, I guarantee if you put the phone on the people, when it rings, they'll grab the phone. And I said, every time they grab the phone, we'll make $1, right? You know? What they didn't know, I was probably one of the leading authorities in digital signal processing. Because that's how I'd gotten the award before, but they didn't know that, right? So what I said was, oh, that's a simple problem to solve. What we'll do is that we'll completely digitize the speech. Will substantially reduce the amount of bandwidth required on a per user basis. And I described to them how you could do that, by what modulation schemes you would use and so forth. Then I said, if you do the math on that, and I can show you how we do that, that you can get 4 times the number of people in the same amount of spectrum. And it took us from like 1984 to 88, and we built the first digital cellular system any place in the world. And we took that business from like about $100 million business to $5 billion, simply because I had so much self-confidence, right, that I was able to challenge the status quo in the midst of all the stereotypes about African Americans.
This week, Lenovo bought Motorola from Google for $2.91 billion. Now, in case you forgot, Google just finished buying Motorola Mobility in 2012 for $12 billion.
I mean, they're owned by their mainstream media is private interests and is owned, by a few people. And again, if it's owned by just a few people, they have enough resources, they're going to be able to have news that kind of support their interests.
Back in 1983, approximately 50 corporations controlled the vast majority of all news media in the United States. Today, ownership of the news media has been concentrated in the hands of just 6 incredibly powerful media corporations. These corporate behemoths control most of what we watch, hear, and read every single day. They own television networks, cable channels, movie studios, newspapers, magazines, publishing houses, music labels, and even many of our favorite websites.
It's clear that there are just a handful of companies that now dominate the media. 15, 20 years ago, there were 50. Now it's down to 6 or 7. And many new companies, new players like Google, for example, online companies, Yahoo and the others, are also becoming major forces because more and more people don't rely on broadcast media, they're relying on online media. So you have a multiplicity of sources, but you still have concentrated ownership.
Increasingly, we have fewer and fewer larger corporations controlling the media in the United States, at least the media that most people see, the major television networks, in some cases the newspapers. And so this is not a good development where you have fewer and fewer interests controlling what more and more people see.
The 6 corporations that collectively control U.S. media today are Time Warner, Walt Disney, Viacom, Rupert Murdoch's News Corp, CBS Corporation, and NBC Universal. Together, the Big 6 absolutely dominate news and entertainment in the United States. But even those areas of media that the Big 6 do not completely control are becoming increasingly concentrated. For example, Clear Channel now owns over 1,000 radio stations across the United States. Companies like Google, Yahoo, and Microsoft are increasingly dominating the internet. But it is the Big 6 that are the biggest concerns. When you control what Americans watch, hear, and read, you gain a great deal of control over what they think. They don't call it programming for nothing.
What we've seen over the years is that, one company can dominate many broadcast outlets. Comcast has bought NBC, so they own not only the NBC broadcast outlets, but the television company Universal is owned by Comcast now. In terms of Disney, they own a whole bunch of cable stations, some of them extremely popular, particularly with young people, but they also own ABC News, some magazines, and the like. You have the same thing with CBS as part of the Viacom family, as they call themselves, with Viacom owning MTV as well as CBS.
Their primary purpose of their existence is to make money.
Of how it's managed, but it's still owned and controlled by one corporation. Sumner Redstone is the big boss of Viacom.
Media corporations do not exist to objectively tell the truth to the American people, rather to make money. Back in 1983, it was bad enough that about 50 corporations dominated U.S. media. But since that time, power over the media has rapidly become concentrated in the hands of fewer and fewer people.
You have to see, who are running these networks. They just tell the people what they want to hear, but I don't think they tell the people the truth.
In 1983, 50 corporations dominated most of every mass medium, and the biggest media merger in history was a $340 million deal. In 1987, the 50 companies had shrunk to 29. In 1990, the 29 had shrunk to 23. In 1997, the biggest firms numbered 10 and involved the $19 billion Disney-ABC deal, at the time the biggest media merger ever. In 2000, AOL Time Warner's $350 billion merged corporation was more than 1,000 times larger than the biggest deal of 1983.
Google lied to you. Facebook lied to you. Radio lied to you.
Josh Saritzen from World Alternative Media here. The media is controlled by the government, and how most of what we're told is a lie.
Everything's a lie. It's all a big lie.
Fortunately, an increasing number of Americans are starting to wake up and are realizing that mainstream media should not be trusted. According to a new poll just released by Gallup, the number of Americans that have little or no trust in the mainstream media is at an all-time high. That is one reason why we have seen the alternative media experience such rapid growth over the past few years. The mainstream media has been losing credibility at a staggering rate, and Americans are starting to look elsewhere for the truth about what is really going on.
A significant shift in the United States away from the mainstream media and toward alternative sites.
World Alternative Media. It's crucial for the sake of our information, and with that, our path as a society. Will we be slaves, or will we be free human beings with truth at our fingertips?
You decide. This is Josh Saritzen signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.
We need a media to expose it.
10-10-50 campaign and the African community.
Okay, hello, I'm Michelle Williams, a correspondent for WACP.TV.
It's just a dream come true.
All right, this is great. We have quite a few people that we want to hear from. We have quite a few people that we have.
Hi, I'm Tabby Smiler. You're watching WACP-TV, the place to be. We are creative people television.
A lot of people are coming on board. What about you?